Ujima Genealogy of Coastal Georgia is proud to present the Low Country Georgia DNA Project. Our presentation today, Tools to Target Your Family History's Brick Walls, presented by Adolphus Armstrong and me, Terry Ward. And before proceeding with this presentation, a quick disclaimer. The content of this presentation reflects personal opinion and experience and is in no way a paid endorsement. So let's begin. I found genealogy research can be a lot like another popular Low Country Georgia activity. Actually, it's a lot like fishing. You bait your hook by creating a family tree, and then you cast that line with your bait by posting it on a website with the hopes that something will bite and you'll reel in the result that you're seeking. This is the genealogy research standard for many family researchers entering the arena. You're fishing around, you're hoping that someone out there will have a bigger, more detailed tree, or that a specific match will write back if you reach out. And ultimately, you will reel in the big fish you're looking for, which is an ancestor or connection about which you know nothing or little or absolutely nothing about. And despite your best efforts, every genealogist, family historian, or researcher is bound to run into that old familiar brick wall, that point in which you run into a block or barrier and your most probing questions appear to go unanswered. Your clues disappear as you chase down an ancestor and their elusive family ties, and you crash. This dead end can feel defeating. So you need a breakthrough, a solid approach to scale that wall and find those answers. And we found, like countless others, that a reliable way to breaking down your brick walls is DNA testing. And we strongly recommend testing or using the tools provided by MyHeritage DNA, the company that cares about your community, your Low Country Georgia roots and heritage. And we know that MyHeritage cares because they have developed and offered the tools most useful to break down and address some of the unique issues encountered by those researching African American roots and ancestry. And working with great tools and a company that cares is important to the members of the Low Country Georgia DNA Project and the work that we do. The Low Country Georgia DNA Project is a close collaboration of researchers who are actively using DNA testing strategically to resolve our genealogical problems and hurdles. We are a subgroup of Ujima Genealogy of Coastal Georgia, which is found on Facebook and resides on our website at www.ujimagen.org. It is our goal and mission to support family historians and genealogists with ties to coastal Georgia who are making efforts to document their family lines by using DNA testing. We seek to elevate the level of research and documentation of Low Country Georgia family histories by creating genetically correct trees supported by concrete evidence only found within our DNA. And in doing so, we see the potential to map out and recover our oldest family lines and find ancestors and kin whose ties were either lost, have fallen from current memory, or have been severed by the conditions set forth by the institution of slavery and the African slave trade. The Low Country Georgia DNA Project was founded by these dedicated researchers. Adolphus Armstrong, our DNA whisperer, that's Mr. DNA due to you. He's a testing and analysis guru. Kevin Hughes, Mr. Look It Up, the all things saplo and ancient DNA expert. Norman Randolph, Mr. Families Are Complicated, leader in all things tech and most likely to dive in and embrace what's new. And then there's me, Terry Ward, the front porch genealogist, or Miss blah, 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 write the record as well as write the record. We've all earned these taglines and we'll be sharing the stories behind them as you take this research journey and dig along with us over the next year. We are committed to filling in the gaps of our ancestry and rebuilding these forgotten family lines with the help of our senior and elderly family members. They are a huge part of our initiative. And Adolphus Armstrong has been driving the effort to test our seniors for years now and continues to do so with the MyHeritage DNA platform. We rely on his efforts and the support and contributions made by our elders because we consider their DNA and the mysteries found within their results golden. Their DNA segments potentially take us anywhere from 200 years to another 2 to 3 generations back into our shared family lines easily. A senior family member's DNA results will reveal answers not necessarily found in our own personal results, since DNA markers wash out, dividing in half with each successive generation. So we consider their genetic contributions golden, and we've already made significant progress and have documented surprising discoveries based upon their results. And here is the blueprint for research success. First, we organize. We suggest you view and cluster your matches on the MyHeritage DNA platform. Get to know your top matches and begin to cluster them in groups that may share common ancestry. Secondly, build a working hypothesis. You're encouraged to focus on one specific goal or relationship at a time and then move backward. Connections are binary and should be proven without doubt before moving on to the next ancestor. Thirdly, build and support your case. Always seek and add supporting records to prove the relationship or disprove the relationship. Find and source vital stats, your dates, documents, and pictures, establishing a paper trail of solid, viable records to support your hypothesis. A whole archive of records are available with a subscription on MyHeritage. Fourth, collaboration and sharing. Welcome new genetic relatives when they contact you. Form research partnerships with other committed researchers working on the same lines, and share with those whom you enjoy working and those who are as focused upon the task at hand as you are. Last of all, write the record as well as write the record. The play on words is intentional and has been a personal mantra for years. We encourage you to cease simply collecting names of ancestors. Seek to tell their stories because you are their voice. Now, one of the biggest challenges for African-American researchers is to get beyond the 1870 census, a big brick wall for many. This is the first census in which former bondsmen or slaves are recorded as freedmen. They're recorded by their full names in their own households instead of being counted as property under the name of an owner. You'll note that the enumerated families appear to be a collection of disjointed, seemingly unrelated surnames, and relationships are not defined, making it hard to discern how the entries are tied. Your DNA results, and specifically the tools provided by MyHeritage, will help you to figure out how you are related to these people as you match or connect in varying degrees to their test-taking descendants. And here's an example of what your MyHeritage match list will look like. It's a long list of your genetic relatives or those test takers who have been confirmed to share varying degrees of DNA with you. Its bright, aesthetically pleasing interface is very well organized and displays just enough information and detail to not overwhelm even beginners or newcomers to genetic genealogy. By default, your closest connections will be at the top of your match list, and the subsequent matches that follow will match more distantly. As one starts clicking away to view these matches, there are two terms to become familiar with as you proceed. One is ICW, which stands for in common with, and it pairs with matches. You'll find as you view and click on these close matches, you'll see a subset of matches who share a common core of ancestry with you and the particular match you're viewing. Thus, these are your in common with matches, and you can begin to organize them into manageable clusters as you go forward. The second abbreviation, MRCA, stands for your most recent common ancestor. This is the ancestor shared most recently between two matches, and finding the most recent common ancestor is the imperative and represents a milestone every genealogist seeks, because that person literally and figuratively opens the door to a steady line back into your family tree. And to your left of your list, you'll find your match names, then the projected relationship to you, followed by details regarding the amount of DNA shared. And to your right, you'll find the buttons which will take you to a full profile page of the match or to their tree, and you'll view that subset or additional matches with which we just identified as in common with matches. With each click among your matches, you're viewing clues and specific details which may help you to discern how you're related. And your mission is to find that most recent common ancestor, or in some cases, an ancestral couple. Now, seasoned researchers all know that's no small feat in many cases, but a love of challenges, mysteries, and puzzles keeps us pushing forward to answer these questions and to solve these mysteries for ourselves as well as our families. The MyHeritage platform and interface provides a very welcoming view that's straightforward and very user-friendly. And in my opinion, MyHeritage is one of the easiest platforms to use. MyHeritage is supportive of your effort to view, manipulate, and organize your data. And this is important as there's a lot of data to process between clicks, glances, and note-taking. So if you love a spreadsheet, they've got not just one, but two for you. You can download your match list and even the segment lists. You'll note the option to download these lists in that far right-hand corner. Now, in regard to segments, I like to think that they represent little pieces of baggage that your ancestors left behind and passed on to you and your relatives. So your match and segment lists highlight who received what and where it landed, and you'll want to download these resources right away. Now, many will ask, why download when you can easily work directly on the platform? And they're right, but MyHeritage gives you options you'll really learn to appreciate. Downloading your match and segment list saves time and allows one to work more efficiently with large amounts of data. And I'm going to show you how and why. Now, this feature is not available on a major competing website that many test takers are currently and heavily using. The competing site generally allows matches to conclude that they're related based upon the amount of shared DNA. And that's okay if that's all you want to know. Unfortunately, it offers few tools to view and precisely determine exactly how your matches connect. Your MyHeritage match and segment list provides all of your data in a form that you can view in its entirety. On the other DNA company's platform, one must rely heavily on the posting of a correct, and I emphasize correct, and well-documented tree or resources to make progress. So you're limited. But that's the inherent problem when researching African-American roots. Formal records are scarce, and few of us know or have answers regarding the ancestors we seek. So boom, here's another brick wall. The secrets are buried in the DNA segments or that genetic baggage we're carrying that's been passed from ancestors from our obscured and distant past. So downloading your match and segment list is an invaluable feature if you intend to really dig into your family origins and take control of your research. Your downloaded MyHeritage match list will look something like this. In this example, I've only resized the columns for better viewing. Researchers now get a good grasp of the big picture, and one can view the data in its entirety to better focus on specific matches. You'll find every detail posted on the platform page, starting with your match name, their age, location if provided, the amount of DNA shared, and the number and size of segments. One sees whether your match maintains a tree, the size of the tree, and most importantly, surnames found within the tree, as well as helpful links to facilitate viewing or contacting your match without having to click through every time one logs on. So again, the MyHeritage download of your match list makes researching quick, convenient, and efficient. There's no need to keep clicking on the same matches to review data over and over again. The downloaded file, which was easily converted into an Excel document or spreadsheet, now allows researchers to customize it as I'm showing you here. Now, my template is colorized, and I've added columns to further define which side of my family the match is associated with, so I can see it at a glance. There's a place to record most recent common ancestors, and the horizontal bands of color indicate that I've figured out our connection, and I've added the match to my offline personal tree and database. The downloaded match list now enables one to conduct custom searches, to copy it, and sort the list to see specific clusters, details, and patterns again, without tediously clicking through each match. One can then enter these notes and observations on the platform later, should one choose. Ultimately, you are in control of your own data, and you will be able to manipulate the data to answer specific inquiries and see patterns more clearly. So now that we've viewed the MyHeritage match list, let's take a look at the tools that really make the platform hum and are unique and outstanding. You're going to have access to some of the best tools to support your efforts to utilize your test results even better. You'll find on the MyHeritage platform a comprehensive ethnicity report, the auto cluster tool, which is unique to a testing platform company, a chromosome browser, which is game-changing for the genetic genealogy research, a triangulation tool, which helps you to drill down even further on specific matches. And lastly, some stellar photo enhancement tools to really make your research stand out and shine. MyHeritage offers an array of ethnicity reports and filters that do not disappoint. Many testers seek to find out more about their ethnic origins, recognizing that most of us of African American descent have heard stories regarding a racially diverse, or as they say, mixed ancestry. I've read that 25% of all African American DNA is generally rooted in European ancestry, and it's also noted that 30% of all African American men trace origins back to a European haplogroup. Now, haplogroup may be a new term for some of you, and by definition, it is a genetic population group of people who share a common ancestor on either the paternal or maternal line. And this info is generally used to track a population's earliest ancient origins and potential migrations. MyHeritage ethnicity reports are very thorough and tremendously add to one's understanding of their genetic makeup. And as you see here to the left, you may click on a general report to view information about a specific ethnic group, or you may view your personal report to discern specific percentages within your genetic makeup. And as you view your matches, you may compare your ethnic comp reports with your matches to aid in discerning where you may share common ancestry and where the ancestor came from. I've even used this info to filter out matches by ethnicity very successfully. Our next tool, the MyHeritage Auto Cluster tool, is indispensable. With just one click, the site automatically organizes your match list into clusters that share common ancestry. So essentially it does all the work of clustering for you. And in my case, I could immediately see some of the clusters taking shape. And shout out to my McIntosh County kin, because that's that big cube here in the corner whose shared genetic imprint stands out here in red. And I've also discovered my earliest European migrant in Southern plantar ties, and I've detected unknown African-centric and American Indian ties associated with the oldest colonies, plus ties to the states of Alabama and the Carolinas as well. I can't say enough about how helpful this tool is to a researcher, as it eliminates hours and hours of research to figure out potential connections. The chart really helps us to focus one's attention on the best matches that will help to uncover the mysteries within one's list. If one figures out how the matches within each of these clusters are linked, as I have begun to figure out and label here, you ultimately have a better shot at figuring out the most recent common ancestor on that cluster. And it's that simple. A select sample of your match list is represented here and aligned on the X and Y axis of the generated chart. Anyone on your list matching specific members of the cluster can potentially be related along the shared line, and thus one quickly resolves a few mysteries when new matches pop up. You'll have to do the work of documenting and comparing trees and relationships, but this tool has made it super easy to zero in on which matches may prove to be the most productive and where you need to look for specific ancestral lines. The MyHeritage Chromosome browser provides one of the best visual presentations of your DNA. The Chromosome browser is a color-coded visual blueprint displaying the layout of your DNA segments. The bright colored fuchsia bands represent segments of the DNA. In the simplest terms, the chromosome browser allows one to see exactly where segments passed down from each of your ancestors lie on each of the numbered chromosomes. Again, essentially where the baggage was dispersed or thrown. When I compared my blueprint to that of my matches, I can quickly see what we each received by noting where our segments align and potentially where we may share a common ancestor. For example, in my comparisons with my matches, I can see the descendants of one of my family lines emerging on a specific place on chromosome 5, which tells me this is a DNA segment passed along from my second great-grandmother, because that's who each of my matches and I share in common. So anyone else that falls within the parameters of this segment on this chromosome shares common ancestry specific to the family line of my second great-grandmother. And if you're serious about digging into your results, you're ready to take your research to the next level, the MyHeritage triangulation tool will help you build your case and support your analysis by displaying your triangulated matches with just a click. The MyHeritage segment and triangulation tool is an advanced tool that takes your research further by allowing one to view precise connections between the tester and two other matches who match on the same chromosome in the same place on that chromosome. And it will look like segment 3 here in this second image. You'll see 3 places where I triangulate with my granduncle and his first cousin, who is also my cousin, twice removed. If a researcher figures out how these matches are connected by their triangulated segments, as I have, one is better poised to discover the common answer or ancestral couple that we each share. Again, segment analysis is not available on the largest competing testing site, thus making one's observations more prone to errors since there's no segment data to view nor compare and to definitively prove or identify a specific ancestor or couple. The chromosome browser tool expands and permits one to compare up to 7 matches at a time. In this example, one sees where my matches align, in some cases triangulate, as well as the places in gray where we don't. This is all useful information to work with as one proceeds to dig in. All uploaded matches within your MyHeritage list are available for segment comparisons and analysis. And the well-designed MyHeritage interface permits scrolling to make quick selections to easily compare as one researches. The chromosome browser and auto cluster tools combined cut through and identify endogamy. And with that said, we know what many of you are thinking. What is endogamy and why should it matter to me? Well, endogamy creates some crisscrossing, complicated associations and patterns within our trees that can potentially confuse a researcher and ultimately derail one's research if they can't identify what is going on with their ancestral lines. Endogamy is the practice of marrying within a specific social group, religious denomination, caste, or ethnic group, and it is prevalent in coastal Georgia kinship groups. Quite simply, it is cousins marrying cousins over successive generations, and it creates some interesting knots and twists in our family trees as relatives are related in more ways than one. When it shows up in your lines, one generally finds matches carrying larger percentages of shared DNA than they normally would, due to carrying additional doses of DNA from multiple lines that have intermarried. For example, on paper, I look as if I'm my granduncle's daughter versus a grandniece because of the endogamy in our shared lines. It is very common and happens often in historically isolated communities. It can be a real headache to work with as one deals with the challenging network of twisted family connections, but these research tools may help considerably to sort through the maze. And as we see with this article, enslavement sets the stage for endogamy. This formerly enslaved mother featured in this article, her descendants are bound to run into each other if the kinship group remained in the same area. As researchers and historians, we are painfully aware that the indiscriminate and horrific concept of slave breeding guaranteed a network of half-siblings and relationships, which ultimately became riddled with endogamy. Cruel, callous, and indifferent owners only viewed a slave's value by their genetic and physical attributes and the ability to build their master slave inventory through natural increase, that is to say, by making numerous babies. Slave marriages or unions were characterized as fleeting as they were not legally sanctioned. They were often subjected to separation by sale of a partner or dictated by the owner's choice of a partner, or worse, the women were subjected to the horrifying experience of rape, which ultimately led to a birth of a child fathered by her aggressor. After emancipation, many descendants who remained in the area of their enslavement were unaware or oblivious to any kinship ties, or they were conditioned to overlook the most distant associations. So basically, marriages between kin 3 to 4 generations away was generally sanctioned and approved, leading to numerous marriages between second and third cousins. Thus, many Low Country Georgians have double cousins and other odd associations among their relatives. And so the chromosome browser ultimately helps to see these complex genetic connections better. Now, there are those that would have you believe that simply comparing your results on any platform or to a large tree should suffice. But as the owner of a very large tree personally and a subscriber to at least 3 sites, I can state confidently that that just isn't true. There's no comparison, and we'll leave that debate for now. But moving forward, I'm going to sum up and provide some final thoughts regarding why you should be using the chromosome browser if you are serious about finding your buried and most distant connections. You can use genetic genealogy and find relatives without a chromosome browser. However, the browser allows one to definitively prove your results by making the connection tangible and concrete. Remember, good research is based upon proof and evidence. And like this image points out, it's science, people. DNA results are based upon solid science, not conjecture, not hearsay. There's no more guesswork. And with the MyHeritage chromosome browser, you see exactly where your segments meet your matches on each of the 23 chromosomes, and you view where they share common ancestry. DNA testing and the use of the MyHeritage chromosome browser helps researchers to avoid classic research errors and assumptions. Forced relationships and connections don't stand up under the scrutiny of the browser. It challenges the common practice of trying to create direct lineal trees based upon unifying common surnames when we know that simply was not the case for African Americans, who adapted many naming constructions based upon the ancestors' circumstances and personal reasons. More importantly, there's no need to rely on someone else's work or tree. For the most part, competent and well-meaning researchers are regularly encouraged and often relying too heavily on copying someone else's tree in research, and for the most part without attribution. So unfortunately, other researchers will never know where to follow up for answers to any questionable postings or obvious errors. I would encourage you all to be trailblazers and to thoroughly research and properly source any trees you run across online and knock down your own walls by following the DNA and using solid tools like the ones made available on MyHeritage. And with the tools provided on the MyHeritage platform, researchers are more than adequately armed to make some significant discoveries within their DNA. You can now build a solid working hypothesis based upon your in common with matches to figure out other complex, unknown, or mysterious relationships and find that most recent common ancestor buried within the DNA of your matches. With our next DNA themed videos planned for 2022, we'll demonstrate some practical applications we found helpful in a few case studies conducted by comparing the DNA results of our senior family members. And as we'll share the information, we'll be sure to use and take advantage of the image enhancement tools found exclusively on MyHeritage and available to subscribers. These tools will put the finishing touches on your research and your presentations by allowing one to produce high quality, sharp, vivid color renditions of your vintage photos. One can clean up fuzzy or fading images for crisper lines, deeper tones, and smoother complexions. You can recolor vintage photos and take them from sepia or gray tone black and whites to full-blown vibrant colors, such as this example here. And in this shot, Cousin James has never looked better or more dapper. And if that weren't enough, MyHeritage permits you to bring your ancestors to life by animating them. This is an intuitive tool, and it really sets the platform apart from others. Just upload your images and let the software do the work. You don't have to learn the complexities of photo enhancement software, nor animations, nor spend hours making difficult edits. You'll just follow the prompts to point, click, upload, and wait a few seconds to see the astonishing results. There's nothing like it on other competing DNA testing platforms, and all that hard work and research you wish to share or present to others will indeed be appreciated and remembered. So take your beautiful vintage photos to the family reunion in top form and wow everybody. In summary, MyHeritage offers some very unique tools and features to support your research goals. MyHeritage offers a swab test, which appears to be very effective and preferred when collecting samples from elderly family members. And I mention this because I tested my then 101-year-old granduncle 5 times by having him spit in a tube. And each test was returned as inconclusive, or for me, who was anxiously waiting, it was one failure after another. Luckily, Adolphus tested him successfully after one attempt with the MyHeritage DNA swab test. The MyHeritage platform offers a beautifully organized match list, which is supported by a chromosome browser, accompanied by a triangulation tool, detailed ethnicity reports loaded with information regarding one's family origins, and the auto cluster tool. The site allows one to easily download one's match lists and segment reports to make quick comparisons, customize columns, search and sort data, or use with other applications such as Microsoft Excel. It has unparalleled photo editing tools, and most importantly, the ability to collaborate and share from a secure site. These features really set the MyHeritage testing platform apart from its competitors. There's no intimidating learning curve when using any of the tools. The DNA platform can be upgraded to a full site subscription, which includes access to a comprehensive archive of state, county, and international records, and unlimited access to the photo editing tools. Today, we are only demonstrating some of the tools we found most useful as we work with our Low Country Georgia roots, but the site offers much more. See for yourself on their website located at www.myheritage.com and view and consider the subscription options. We should point out that several of our most revered seniors have already tested or posted with MyHeritage DNA, and we can't help but wonder if the key to your family history is locked within their shared DNA. You can find out by uploading your current test results taken from any other major testing site today. There's a nominal upload fee of only $29. And once you're a part of the MyHeritage DNA community, we'll be able to help you connect, verify, and find your Low Country Georgia connections even better than ever. Now, interest in documenting and recovering African-American family history and genealogy is on the rise. It's actually at an all-time high as scholars nationwide are digging deep into the roots and stories of our Low Country Georgia ancestors. The brick wall will be blasted away, and it should come tumbling down fast and hard with your help and interest. So watch this space, because the Low Country Georgia DNA project is on the move and rolling with MyHeritage DNA, the platform that cares about your research and your Low Country Georgia heritage and roots. We're leaving the old barriers to researching African-American ancestry behind, embracing the newest tools made available on MyHeritage, and producing our own data by focusing our own testing interests and strategies to create better, more accurate genealogies, family histories, and trees. So yes, help and support of our community and family research is on the way. You and only you can support the effort to build a hub on the web for Low Country Georgia family historians, researchers, and genetic genealogists. Can we count on your support? We sincerely hope so. We hope you'll contact us and commit to testing yourself and especially your senior family members. Purchase your discounted test kits this holiday season and test those older family members before these deals are done. And don't forget, if you've already tested on another platform, you can really support the mission by uploading your test results on the MyHeritage DNA platform today. If you purchase or upload your results from any other testing platform by January 1st, 2022, you will qualify to win a full genetic DNA consultation from a member of our team. We will enter your name in our Wheel of Heritage drawing. We will schedule a day to take a spin on Facebook Live to choose a winner or two, and then we'll follow up with the winner or winners to make arrangements to view and analyze one's DNA results. But we'll make this offer even sweeter. If you purchase and or upload by this same date, I will also forward a copy of my colorized Excel template to help you organize your MyHeritage match list for easy access and sorting. I'm making this offer available only to members of the Low Country or people that want to support the Low Country Georgia DNA project. Again, you have until January 1st, 2022 to win. So test away and don't forget to take advantage of these special offers while they last. If you have any questions, please direct all inquiries or comments to the Ujima Genealogy Facebook group page or contact us directly. You can find Adolphus at aarmstrong3649@gmail.com or me, Terry Ward, at frontporchgenealogist@gmail.com. And if you go to the website, we're located again at www.ujimagen.org. Ujima Genealogy of Coastal Georgia and the Low Country Georgia DNA Project thanks you for your support and interest. And while this appears to be the end, it's really the beginning of a better, more satisfying research experience with MyHeritage DNA.